Join us today in our podcast where we take a deeper look into the life of Julio Paiz as a young boy, rising star, and now executive director with the New Orleans Dynamo. Let's take a look. Hello everyone, my name is Steven Paiz. I'm coach with New Orleans Dynamo Football Club. Welcome to our podcast. Today we have Mr. Julio Paiz here. He's the executive director for the New Orleans Dynamo. Julio, nice to have you here.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you for having us here.
So I know you've been having a long day these last couple of days. I know you said you would rather stand up than sit down.
Absolutely, yes. It's we're in the evening hours right now, and I've been doing a lot of work today, so I rather stand up.
So Julio, one of the things I wanted to do and accomplish with the podcast is I wanted to make this more personal. So I know we have an audience. I know you have a big following. But I wanted to make it a lot more personal about you. We want to know a little bit more about you. So first thing, I think a lot of people do know that you're obviously from here. You've been here a long time. But where were you born? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was actually born in Guatemala, Central America. So I am what's called a Chapín, and very proud to be a Chapín. And but have been here for most of my life. So also very happy to have been part of this country for many years.
Tell me how you got into soccer, because from a young age it can't really be that's really what you wanted to be, or was it what you wanted to be, a soccer coach?
Again, thank you for the opportunity to have me here and be doing this, Steven. Yeah, it's interesting how it works. It worked for me. Since a very young age, I was introduced to soccer by my dad, by our dad. He used to work for the Federation of Soccer in Guatemala, and for as long as I can remember, he would bring me around, and whether it was matches for the regular season in Guatemala, and or international matches for the Guatemalan national team, he was always in charge of making sure that things were going well, and in the individual games, and so that's, to be honest with you, how it all started for me. I remember having to travel with him to different towns in Guatemala, because he had to go with the teams from the city to very common and important teams in Guatemala, which are Municipal and Comunicaciones. Two teams that my dad would always have to go with, and he would bring me, and so I would have to be in the bus. I would have to sometimes stay in their hotels, and I would see those players, how they behaved and how they handled themselves, and so obviously in Guatemala, soccer is the thing to do. And little by little, I fell in love with the sport. I can remember when I was 4 or 5 years old. That's all I wanted to do is play soccer. And in Guatemala, that's really all you do. I'll tell you a quick story. That I tell people that are close to me. I had never seen a baseball until I came here to the U.S. Until I was 11, had never really dealt with the baseball, and or a football, much worse. I had never seen a football being thrown. I think, if I remember correctly, I had seen a baseball, but it was the football that I had never seen a football being thrown. And when I got here and I saw the football and how it moved, I was like amazed, and I was like, whoa, look at this. And so it was the point I'm trying to make is that it was all soccer. When I had games at 8 a.m. in the morning, I was one of those children that at 5 in the morning I was already up. I would get up on my own. I would change, and I would sit by the door with the ball at my waist and wait for 7 o'clock to come around so I could hit the fields. And so that's how it started for me, and the Lord has given me the opportunity to be in soccer all my life. So feel blessed.
So those are the kind of stories that I think that we want to hear, because we don't know that. So you come to the United States when you're around 10, 11 years old. I guess you finally see a football and a baseball. You play some baseball. I know you were pretty good at baseball too. You were a pitcher. Never played football that I remember, but you did play at Lafreniere Park. That's the most that I remember. And after that, obviously, you played in all the leagues out here. So, but at what point did you get hooked to coaching?
Yeah, that's actually, to be honest with you, I enjoyed playing baseball. Baseball was a sport that I enjoyed a lot. I had a cousin back in Guatemala, Juan Carlos, that liked baseball a lot, but I didn't care for. I'm remembering now how it goes. I never cared for how hard the ball was, so I didn't care for catching it or even throwing it. But when I got here, I obviously was introduced to the sport by friends, and when I remember when I first started playing baseball, I was the way that I was introduced to playing baseball here was with a tennis ball. We had a few friends that would be in the front of my house throwing the tennis ball, and I didn't mind throwing the tennis ball because the tennis ball was easy to catch, and it wasn't, it was just throwing the ball. And they said to me, "Listen, we want to take you to the park. We want you to come play on a team with us." And I happened to we used to live in Driftwood, and I played for a park, Galatas Park, or Galatas Park, I think it was called. And I'll never forget. The coach saw me throwing the ball, and he thought I had some accuracy, so but never really gave me the opportunity to pitch early on. That very first season that I played, I was doing some shortstop, which I enjoyed a lot. Second base, shortstop is what I wanted to do because you would have a lot of action. And but as he saw me throw the ball, he knew that there was something in me. So he asked me. He said, "Listen, I'm going to ask you to start doing some pitching." And I had no idea what pitching really meant. I just knew that obviously it was the guy that did all the throwing. And I'll never forget my very first time that I pitched in a game. I did pretty good. I actually struck out the last, I think it was 5 guys of the game to win the game. And so I knew that there was something there. And so I enjoyed playing. Those were the 11 and 12 years of playground baseball, and so I played it, throughout my youth, and in middle school, I remember that some of the same friends said to me, "Listen, why don't you go and try out for the middle school team?" Which back in the days it used to be Roosevelt Middle School, and I did. So I didn't care. So I tried out, but unfortunately I wasn't making it. I just wasn't good enough. They had some guys there that could play, and it was getting down to the wire. And one of my friends actually went to the coach and said, "Listen, coach, we think you need to give this kid a chance to pitch. Just give him a chance to pitch and see if he can see what he's got." And sure enough, that's how it happened. He gave me an opportunity, and I knew how to throw the ball, and all I knew is that I had to put the ball in the glove, and I didn't really know much about curves and sliders or anything like that. I think that's why I now can't really throw anything because I think I blew my arm from throwing so much back then without giving my arm any rest or anything like that. I don't know that back then that was an importance. But I ended up making the middle school team in my 7th and 8th grade year, and so played at the middle school level. And once I got to high school, that became a bit more challenging, and I knew that I had to identify sport, and by then soccer is what I was doing.
So I remember talking about baseball one time where I know you're a Braves fan, and the Braves were I fell asleep, and the Braves, you waking me up, shaking me. You're happy because Sid Bream had just crossed the plate and had brought the Braves into the finals, or I think they won the finals. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but so I know you're a Braves fan. So now I know there's a period in your life where in high school, unfortunately, our dad passes away. All of a sudden, you're 18, maybe 19 years old. He passes away. How big of an impact was that to you? And at the time, what were you doing at the time? Starting to do some coaching or not?
That was challenging. That was absolutely challenging and a tough period of my life. He was a significant figure in my life, and it was tough. And but being the oldest of three brothers, a sister and a brother. I knew that I had a responsibility, so I got with my mom and I backed her up 100% and told her that we were going to stick together and we were going to make it happen. And she had thoughts about going back to Guatemala, and I talked her into not. I told her, I said there was no way that we were going back. I wanted to stay here in America, and I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to do something with our lives. And luckily our mom supported us and in wanting to stay. And so that kind of drove me to want to be the best that I could be as far as a big brother, and push you and my sister to be the best that they could be. And going back to the question that you had asked before, as far as the sport of soccer, it was introduced to me back in Guatemala, but throughout my youth here in the U.S., it was always in me, and so had the opportunity to practice it and play it throughout my youth years here in Lafreniere Soccer Association, which also became my home for many years as well.
Now, there, if you can, if some of the people that are watching or listening, they can probably remember the days where you used to go out coaching with your Jabot pants.
Yeah. That was actually the point that I was trying to remember of what the question specifically was about. On when did I start to coach, and that's another. I'll try to make it short story that I remember very well, and it actually has to do with my dad's passing away and me having to take the responsibility of that father figure in the family, and there was a need for someone to continue to bring you to practice. And I told my mom that I would be the one that would do that, and that's actually how it all started. I would bring you to practice at Lafreniere Park, and there I met a man that actually a very good friend, impacted my life in many ways. A guy by the name of Rob Rome, and he was actually the coach of your team, and the first few weeks, I don't know how long it was, 3-4 weeks, as I would sit there and watch you train, I knew that I wanted to get out there and be like, hey, I know a little bit about the sport. Give me an opportunity to help you. But I didn't have the courage to do so. But I don't know how it worked, but somehow I got the courage to go and ask him if I could help, if I could be an assistant. And yeah, he took me in and he was like, come and be my assistant. And that's how it all started.
Wow. I'm pretty sure you were probably shagging balls, and all of a sudden you got a ball at your feet and probably kicked the ball, and he probably saw you and said, "Hey, Julio, come out here, come give me a hand."
Yeah, I would love to be able to go back and remember how specifically that went down,
Right.
because it would be nice to remember, but I don't.
So let's fast forward a bit. I think you gave us a good background. Let's fast forward to when you start taking your licenses and the people who make an impact in your life. Good coaches, other coaches. How did that all happen? You go from just being a fan, and all of a sudden start taking all these licenses, and now you have one of the highest licenses you can get here.
Yeah, that was. I think that the Lord puts people in your path all the time, and it's up to you to take advantage or be wise and connect with people that are going to make you better. And I feel that happened to me. I was blessed to have met two people that were very influential in my life. A guy by the name of Sam Snow. Back then, he was the director of coaching for the state of Louisiana, became the director of coaching for U.S. Youth Soccer. And little did I know when I first met him and started to pick his brain about the game on the type of person that he was and how much knowledge of the game he had. And Mike Jeffries, another friend that also showed me so much, the level of professionalism that he has, his drive, his will to want to always take things to the next level was impressive for me, and I used to watch him train all the time and how he handled himself, and man, it was just good to be around those kind of people, you know what I mean? And so tried learning from them as much as I could, and to this day I apply things from those guys that I call my mentors.
Right, yeah. So you actually had a mentor, Mike Jeffries, who was a Herman Trophy winner, and you've also coached a player that was a Herman Trophy winner as well, Patrick Mullins as well.
Yes, sir.
So that's pretty interesting. Tell me a little bit about, now that you've been in coaching for at least over 30 years now, giving away your age a bit, but over 30 years of coaching. Now you're with New Orleans Dynamo Football Club. Tell me what you've learned in the last 15, 20, 30 years you're applying now to this club.
Man, you're asking me some loaded questions, but I'll put it this way. Very thankful to have had the opportunity to be doing this for so many years. So I think sometimes we take it for granted. I sometimes run across coaches, and I ask them, "Hey, how you doing?" And they'll smile and say, "Man, living the dream." And it hits me, because sometimes I forget that I'm living a dream. It's a dream, to be honest with you, to be doing what the way that I see it, to be doing what I do, which is to work in this industry of soccer, football, and also my mind went blank on what you were saying.
No, so basically the last 15, 20, 30 years, how have what you've learned, how have you applying it now with the New Orleans Dynamo?
Yeah, that again, loaded question. One thing that I've learned over the years is that you're going to die learning in this business. When I first started, I was one of those young buds that I used to think that I knew it all. No one could tell me anything about the game or how to coach, how to teach, the psychology of the game, the different components of the game, the technical, the tactical, the physical, and psychological. I thought I knew it all. But as the years went by, man, I've learned that I am going to die learning about the game. you die learning about the game, and you can become stale if you don't continue to upgrade yourself all the time, because the game continues to evolve. The evolution of coaching is just, and the game it's just next level. So you have to continue to keep up and stay with it. That's something that I've learned over the years. Also, just the amount of players that I've been able to impact is something that also, to me, it's mind-boggling when I now see players at the store or run across players in social media that I coached 10, 15 years ago, and still respect me as a person now, and thank me for how tough I was with them. That also is pretty cool. I think that in this business we can impact children, we can impact the youth, and it's important for us to be honest in what we do every single day and how we speak to players, whether it's boys or girls, and what we say, how we say it, because we're making a difference in their lives. So those are just some things that I think are pretty cool.
Right. What's the biggest challenge you see currently right now in the landscape of soccer? Not just in the U.S. in general, but let's a little bit smaller, more close to home here in Louisiana. What do you see are some challenges that we have?
I think that you can go in different directions when with that question. I to be honest with you, like to always try to keep things positive, especially when I'm speaking in public. And so, but I will say that overall, the level of coaching in the state of Louisiana needs to continue to improve. And I say that, looking at myself in the mirror, we need to always continue to improve. I believe that in order for our state to grow, our level of coaching as a state needs to continue to improve. Challenges in the state of Louisiana would have to be the numbers. Texas has many more players. Texas, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, they have many more players than we do. So our pool of players is small. So it's the bigger your pool of players is, I believe the more players will develop if the coaching is good. Us having a small pool in Louisiana, 30,000 plus, it's a small pool of players, and so I think that's a challenge, but that's due to our population and not much that we can do. As far as that goes, I think we just need to continue to work very hard in identifying the areas in the state of Louisiana where soccer isn't being promoted, isn't being pushed, and hopefully grow a bigger base of players all throughout the state, from the ages of 3 to 10. And if we could grow that base, hopefully we can have more players that'll come up and want to play at a high level.
So you bring up a good point. If I have a 3-year-old through 10-year-old and I put them to play, but then they get a coach that might not be up to par, that kid is probably going to quit or not play because of they're not getting that joy of the game. Would you agree with that usually happens?
Yes and no. I think sometimes the game is so powerful that a lot of the times the children will fall in love with the game just by playing the game on weekends, by playing their soccer game. I think that if we can make it a win-win and give the player a good experience during the week, train them proper, develop that player, whether it's a boy or girl, proper, and then let them play on the weekend, it's a win-win. So again, going back to your question, I don't know that players walk away from the game due to the coaching. Sometimes it's because of the negative experience, and it does have to do with the coaching. I think that sometimes players that do not develop proper from the ages of 5 to 12, if they don't develop proper and they don't get those individual skills that they need, by the time they get into their 13, 14, 15 years, if they can't play at a high level, or should I say, if they cannot dominate the ball well, it isn't as good of an experience versus a player that can dominate the ball well. Because if you can dominate the ball well, you're gonna have more fun playing the game because you could do a lot more. In the younger age groups, you can get away with it. You can play some kickball and kick and run and be athletic and succeed. But when you get into the older age groups, the more skill you have, the better you're going to be. And I think that the better the experience will be. That's just my opinion.
Right. So Julio, tell us now, wrapping it up, tell us about New Orleans Dynamo Football Club. We do know that you started in the middle of a pandemic. That's never easy, but membership is, from what we hear, you're doing a great job on social media. We see a lot of stuff on social media. Membership seems happy. Obviously, in what we do, there's always going to be challenges, but tell me how we can help, how this podcast can help, how people listening to this can probably bring their kids to New Orleans Dynamo and be part of the club.
Yeah, no, absolutely. New Orleans Dynamo FC, an awesome experience that's now been up and running for about 7 months. So just started. Very thankful to have had people like yourself, Edgar Fuentes, around me, and pushed me to go in this direction. And here we are now with a small group of coaches and that are all trying to do good. We're leaving our egos aside. We are just trying to do as much good as we can and develop players in the right way. The membership, the people that have bought into what it is that we're doing, I think that they're realizing that they're in a good place because we are trying to give them lots of love. We're trying to show them that we care. So excited about the opportunity. Where we're going with it, to be honest with you, we just want to continue to find ways to develop a good foundation, give the club a good infrastructure, so it's here for many years to come. Trying to make sure that the coaches and the membership understands the culture that we have in place for the club, and just enjoying it. So if there are parents out there that have children that would like to be part of this experience, they can go to the club's website, which is New Orleans Dynamo FC.com, and check out what it is that we're doing there. If you would like to get in touch with me, feel free. I have no problem with speaking to anyone. The way I see it, I work for you 24/7, 504-621-4557, and just thankful for the opportunity that my Lord has given me to continue to do this, and hopefully we can, again, in the next few years, show that we're doing some good and develop some players.
So we have a 3-year-old program. We have player development program, ages from 5 to 10. Then you have obviously, like you were mentioning before, the kids who want a little bit more, have that skill, keep on going to the competitive teams. At 18, pretty much they have a decision: do they hang it up, go to college, or obviously probably just had a fun high school experience? And I think majority are probably going to be around that age group. at what age can a parent start their kids, or is a good age to start? Sometimes people always ask me, is 3 too early to start? I tell them, no, go ahead. But what do you think?
I think that is as early as a child.
Because I didn't start at 3. That's why I don't. I mean, I remember kicking the ball around maybe 5, 6. But I believe this is going back into the 80s. I started playing probably 7 years old.
Yes.
So now it seems like, man, we went from 5 to 4 to 3. I mean, eventually is it going to 2 or 1 euro program?
Yeah, no, I think that it's every family is different and should be different. I think players are attracted by the game at different times in their life and their age. We have found over the years that a child at the age of 3 can already begin to understand what it means to play soccer, have fun, and so we have a program called the Dynamites, and we actually happen to have one of the best coaches in the business running that program. I welcome families to come out and check out Coach. His name is Coach Steven, and does a great job with the young ones. Keeps it fun, and that's what it should be about for the young ones. It needs to be fun, and we try to do a good job installing the love of the game. For us, it's not about the wins or losses at the younger age groups. We don't care about the wins. We don't care about the losses in the younger age groups. We care about installing the love of the game. We want the player to fall in love with the ball. And if we can do that, we feel the players will continue to come back. Obviously, as they get older and, we begin to get into the 10 through 12 years, that's when obviously, the level of focus has to be better. And we want to push them a bit more, making sure that we're shaping them up in the right way so they can truly be called young professionals. And then we get into the 13, 14 and up years where obviously that's when you really begin to see the final product at the youth level, I should say. So I think players, the final product, you don't see it until they're in their 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 years. So we're just at the beginning. We're at the beginning stages. So we do have different levels and we do have different genders in the club, boys and girls, ages 3 to 18, and just trying to do a good job with the young ones so they can have some fun, fall in love with the game, and enjoy playing it.
So if you're watching this live, there's a tournament coming up soon. I want you to let us know about the tournament. If you're not watching it live, maybe the tournament already passed because this will probably be on social media, so you may be a little bit late. But tell us about the tournament.
Yeah, we our first annual 3v3 tournament is, if everything goes well, will be happening on February 13th, 2021 at Highway 51 in La Place. And very excited about the opportunity. It is a club fundraiser. So we're trying to bring in as many teams as we can and give them an opportunity to participate in a day of soccer where teams come out and play in a 3v3 format. So hopefully it'll be lots of fun. It'll truly be about player development because the players will be getting lots of touches on the ball. And hopefully the players can compete and have a good time.
And if people miss the tournament, but they want to register for the Dynamo, how can they register online? Who can they call if they need anything?
Yeah, if families want to know more about the club, feel free to go online and check us out at Orleans Dynamo FC.com, and or you can call me 504-621-4557 anytime. We're always looking for boys and girls that want to play the sport of soccer. They don't have to be the best. They could be beginners, intermediate, or advanced. Doesn't matter to us. We will look to find a place so your child can participate and have a good time.
And finally, Julio, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn a little bit more about you. We also want to make sure that we continue to do these podcasts. If you had somebody that you would like to watch in this podcast, it could be either over the phone or we can maybe get him in here to do this. What would be a person's name that you would like to be sitting right there and watching or listening to what he had to say or she had to say?
Right now, oh man, it's too many people to name, to be honest with you. I would love to. There are so many people that I would love to. I would want to watch, but so I'll leave it at that. To be honest with you, I don't have one specific person that I would want. I will say that if anything, I will challenge our coaching staff to come on board and do some of this and have the people out there get to know them, our staff, a little bit better, because I feel like they are some good people. They're good guys that are trying to do good, and I think that we need to give ourselves a bit more exposure. So our coaches is probably a group of guys that I would want to see doing this a bit more.
Perfect. We will reach out to them and try to get them here. I want to thank you guys for listening in. I want to thank Julio once again for being our guest here tonight. If we need anything from Julio, we know how to reach you, right? You gave your cell phone number out?
Yes, sir. 504-621-4557. So, feel free to keep in touch with me.
Give him a ring. I appreciate it once again. Thank you for having us, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Take care.
Thank you.